The People Stack, powered by offrd.co.
Welcome back to the People Stack. I'm Aarthi, and with me is Raj from Offrd, a resident compliance savant. Raj, are you ready to dig into penalties today?
Hi everyone, happy to play the nerd role again.
Today, we are talking about a topic that every founder and HR manager keeps hearing about. But nobody wants to sit and read 100 pages of law for the new labor codes are in force. And the big question we keep getting is this: what happens if we get it wrong? What are the fines and penalties under these new codes for Indian small and medium enterprises? This episode is your short, practical answer.
And quick note at the start. We are going to keep this in very simple language. We are talking from the central government point of view, not going state by state. And this is not legal advice. You should always talk to your labor law expert or CA for your exact situation.
Perfect. So let us start with the basics. What exactly changed in 2025?
In simple terms, the central government has taken 29 old labor laws and packed them into 4 labor codes. Code on Wages of 2019, Occupational Safety, Health and Working Conditions Code of 2020, Code on Social Security of 2020, Industrial Relations Code of 2020. All 4 are now in force from November 24th, 2025 at central level. States will have their own rules under these codes, but the penalty structure sits in the central text.
So from a founder point of view, it is no longer about remembering Payment of Wages Act, Bonus Act, PF Act, and so on. It is these 4 codes that matter.
Correct. And the big change is that penalties are now more clearly written, especially for repeat non-compliance and for serious issues such as safety and social security.
And that is what we are going to unpack today. I want to zoom in on small and medium enterprises for a second. If I'm a founder with, say, 50 or 150 employees, what is the mindset shift I need?
Earlier, many founders looked at labor laws as a list of random forms and registers. Now, with the codes, the message is more direct. Small one-time gaps can often be regularized, but if your company keeps repeating the same problem, or if the gap is linked to safety or social security, the cost can rise very quickly.
So the first time you slip up, it may be a smaller fine. But if you keep doing it, it becomes a pattern, and then things get serious.
Exactly. The codes are trying to be more compliance-friendly for genuine mistakes and more strict on repeated or serious non-compliance.
Let us go code by code. We start with the one everybody touches, even a team of 5 people. The Code on Wages 2019. What does it cover, and what are the penalty numbers we should remember?
Code on Wages covers minimum wages, timely payment of wages, bonus and wage-related records. In the central code text, there are 3 simple penalty buckets that small and medium enterprises should know. If an employer pays less than the amount that is legally due under the code, the fine can go up to Rs 50,000 for the first offence. For other contraventions of the code or rules, the fine can go up to Rs 20,000 for the first time. If wage and record registers are not kept properly, it can attract a fine up to Rs 10,000. If the employer repeats the offence, the code allows higher fines and even jail time. For example, repeat underpayment can go up to Rs 1 lakh and jail up to 3 months.
So for founder listening, there are 2 messages here. First, do not try to quietly underpay someone and hope nobody will notice. It is explicitly captured in the code. Second, wage slips and payroll records are not just for your auditor. They are your first defense if someone questions wages.
Yes, if your salary structure is clear, your wage slips are correct, and your digital payroll register is clean, you have a strong line of defense under Code on Wages.
Let us move to the Safety Code, Occupational Safety, Health and Working Conditions Code of 2020. Even office-first companies think this is only for factories, which is not true. What does the penalty picture look like here?
This code is about safety and working conditions in factories, offices, warehouses, stores, and similar workplaces. The numbers that stand out are these. For general contravention of safety provisions under the code, the penalty is a minimum of 2 lakhs and can go up to 3 lakhs. If the contravention continues after conviction, there can be an extra penalty up to 2,000 per day till it is fixed. In cases where failure of duties leads to death or serious injury, the fines are higher. For death, the minimum fine is 5 lakhs. For serious injury, it can go up to 4 lakhs. There are also penalties for obstructing inspectors or giving false records.
So this is no longer a soft area. Even if I run a service company with only laptops and chairs, I still need to think about basic safety, emergency exits, fire equipment, and documentation.
Exactly. A small safety checklist, a basic log of checks and drills, and clear responsibility can make a big difference.
Now, the code that probably makes most founders a bit nervous. The Code on Social Security of 2020. This is where PF, ESI, gratuity, maternity benefits, and so on live. What are the penalties we should not ignore?
In Social Security Code, the law is especially strict when money is deducted from salary and not deposited. If an employer fails to pay Social Security contributions, including cases where they have already deducted from wages but not deposited, the code allows jail terms with fine. Repeat offences can go up to 3 years of jail and higher fines. There are also fines for not paying gratuity when it is due, or not giving maternity benefits, or not paying other dues under the schemes. Those can go up to rupees 50,000, with possible jail up to 1 year depending on the clause.
The summary here is clear. If you cut rupees 3,000 from an employee for PF or ESI, that money should go to the right place, on time. You cannot use it as working capital.
Yes, that is where companies get into serious trouble. The law is much more forgiving of a delayed form than of a missing deposit after deduction.
The last code is the Industrial Relations Code of 2020. This feels more relevant for slightly larger teams, especially during restructuring. What is the big picture for penalties here?
Industrial Relations Code covers things like layoff, retrenchment, closure, strikes, lockouts, and unfair labor practices for certain categories of establishments. Some key penalty ranges in the code are closure or retrenchment without following the provisions where those sections apply can attract a fine not less than rupees 1 lakh, and it can go up to rupees 20 lakhs. Violation of strike or lockout provisions can mean fines from rupees 50,000 up to rupees 5 lakhs, with higher levels for repeat offences. Unfair labor practices listed in the schedule can attract fines starting at rupees 10,000 and going up to 5 lakhs for repeat offences. This usually becomes critical when companies are doing large-scale retrenchment or closing units without planning for the legal side.
So for a fast-growing startup that suddenly wants to shut a unit or let go of 100 people, this is not just an HR decision. It is a legal event.
Correct. That is the time to loop in a labor law specialist early, not at the last minute after notices go out.
Let us now move from fear mode to action mode. If I'm a founder or HR head listening, what can I do over the next 6 to 12 months so that I'm not living in panic about labor code penalties? Can we frame a simple checklist?
Yes, think of it in 3 buckets. Bucket 1. Wages and payroll. Clean up salary structures so that fixed pay, variables, and statutory parts are clearly documented. Make sure wage slips go out every salary cycle and are stored safely. Ensure your payroll register can produce reports by month, by branch, and by employee. Bucket 2. Social Security and benefits. Check PF and ESI applicability for each location and category of worker. Match your deduction figures with actual deposits and keep proof of payment handy. Review gratuity and maternity benefit for long tenure employees. Bucket 3. Safety and people processes. Create a basic safety checklist for each workplace. Document drills, maintenance, and any incidents. Ensure grievance and internal committees are formed where required and their details are recorded.
If someone does just these 3 buckets properly, they are already in a much better place than most companies. Now let's bring Offrd into this picture, but in a very honest way.
Yes, thanks for bringing it up. Offrd is not a law firm. We cannot tell you whether Section X applies to your factory in a particular state. What we can do is keep your HR and payroll data clean enough so that your CA and labor consultant can give real advice. Let us talk through that. When we look at inspections and audits in real life, the first questions are always about records. Can you show attendance for this employee for this month? Can you show the wage slip for that period? Can you show PF deduction and deposit proof? If those are scattered across spreadsheets and WhatsApp and paper files, your legal expert is already on the back foot.
So the role we see for offrd.co is simple. Offer letters and HR letters that are consistent and stored centrally. Attendance that connects to payroll, salary registers and wage slips that can be exported quickly. Location-wise and organization-wise views for PF and ESI checks. If those are in place, your CA or labor law advisor can look at the actual data and map it to the code.
Exactly. Technology cannot do compliance by itself, but it can remove a lot of chaos from the data side of compliance.
If you're listening and wondering what to do with all this information, here is a very practical way to use this episode. Step 1. Share this episode with your CA or labor law consultant and ask a simple question. Looking at these penalty ranges, where do you think we are most exposed? Step 2. Sit with your HR and finance teams and do a quick reality check against the 3 buckets we mentioned: wages and payroll, social security, safety and processes. Step 3. Decide what you want to digitize first. For many companies, it is attendance and payroll registers. And for some, it is offer letters and HR letters.
And once you have that base in place, ask your advisors to read the actual code text and the official government PDFs. We will add those links in your show notes and on the penalties landing page so that you are not relying on random blogs.
Raj, before we close, I want us to clearly say the legal disclaimer in plain words.
Yes, very important. Nothing in this episode is legal advice. We have based this discussion on the Central Labor Code text and official government publications that are current at the time of recording, but every organization has its own facts, size, locations, and sector. Before you take any final decision on wages, social security, safety, or restructuring, please speak to a qualified labor law professional or CA who understands your business.
We are sharing this to help you ask better questions, not to replace your legal review.
Exactly. If you would like to see how Offrd can help you clean up your HR and payroll records, you can book a free, no-commitment demo on offrd.co. We will also link to the Labor Code Hub page and this Penalties Explainer page in the show notes.
Thank you for listening to People Stack by OFFRD. Stay curious, stay compliant, and we will see you in the next episode.
Bye, everyone.